All right, it's that time again. Time for another Sunday video. We got a lot of stuff to do, so let's get to it. We're going to attempt to do an overnighter. I say attempt because a lot of what we're going to do hinges on success or not. I want to try to make a torch off the landscape, or multiple torches. Those that watched the Rambo gear loadout, we evolved from that into basically doing what he did in the movie and creating a torch and cooking some food, things like that. If you haven't seen those videos, here's the thumbnails, check them out. Now before we get too far down the trail, don't forget we have 100 Corporals Corner stainless steel pour spout skillets with that classic removable handle dropping to the website as we speak. As an added bonus, we have an additional 25 carbon steel pour spout skillets with a removable handle that's stainless steel dropping as well. That's an overflow from last week. We dropped 100, they sold like that. Going through the warehouse, I found out we had 25 more discs, so we might as well use them. Once again, we got 100 stainless steel and an additional 25 carbon steel, both with that classic stainless steel removable handle dropping to my website as we speak. While you're there, don't forget to grab a skillet bag and patch. Once again, it's corporalscorner.com, and that link is located in my video description box. My favorite video of that series was the torch video, where Rambo actually creates a torch using parts of his tunic and either lamp oil or kerosene, soaks the strips in there, wraps it on a stick, lights it, and as he moves through that mine shaft, he's actually adding pieces of the tunic to that. And we did that in the video, and it worked out well. But that got me thinking, can I recreate that from items off of a landscape and actually make a torch or multiple torches and get it done? But what I'm thinking is, if we actually process some fatwood and then render all of that pine pitch from the fatwood, that nice black thick paste that people use for primitive skills with their pine pitch sticks, and actually take that and then apply that to our strips of cotton or shamag or a bandana, cotton t-shirt, so on and so forth, we can actually take those strips and actually wrap them onto a stick, let it dry, harden, and then you're going to have a gigantic pine pitch stick that you can light that hopefully will burn for several minutes, if not 30 minutes or more. And as we move, we can actually wrap more on there and have a constant fuel source. That's where my head's at right now, and that's what I'm thinking. But to get to that part, we got to set up a camp. I want to talk about some gear. And then in the evening, hopefully render the fatwood into usable or viable pine pitch. I've shown this about 10 times over the past decade or so. And the one thing that makes it unique from other channels is I show one tent pole when it's laid flat on one corner and one on the opposite. And then we simply take that flap and grab the material with the tent stake basically in position and held firmly. We flip it over. It gives you slack in the material. So you can combine all three tent stakes and actually prop it in there and lift your tent, and it will stay upright by itself. If you have two people, does it really matter? Probably not. One can hold it while you stake out the backside, but being by yourself, there's enough slack in it. Once you raise up one end, it stays that way. Then you can go to the opposite end and do the exact same thing, and it's upright. Then stake out the sides and ultimately the front. Let's go ahead and talk about the gear that I'm wearing. This right here is a modern version of the old school Y harness that the military used from Vietnam all the way up until late 1997 when the Marine Corps did away with it and went to our LBV, which was last week's video. If you haven't seen that video, here's the thumbnail, check it out. Now I've shown something similar in the past. Let's go ahead and briefly look at it, show the parts of it, show what I'm carrying, and then move on. Real quick, a huge disclaimer. Some of the gear I'm going to show you on here is no longer being made. Can you still purchase it on Amazon or eBay? If you're lucky to find it, yes. However, there are equivalents and you can do your own research and try and find that. We'll go ahead and start in the front. We have two magazine pouches. Inside the magazine pouch, you have three magazines. Yes, you can turn them upside down if you choose to. They're facing upright so you can see exactly what we're rolling with. Both these and all the rest of the gear are attached to a standard old school military web belt. This is a newer version that comes with a buckle like this. The old school ones that are really old, 25, 30 years, have a plastic clip that is basically a square that pops into it, versus both of these right here that actually lock top and bottom, where you got to squeeze both of them. The old model, you got to pull a little buckle and it opens up. Moving to our sides, we have a Maxpedition pouch, one for our left side and one for our right side. Now keep in mind, these can be Condor bags as well. There's even a cheaper route off Alibaba for like $7 or $8. The end result should be the same. You want your bag to hold at a minimum a 32-ounce wide mouth stainless steel bottle, and that's what we have inside here. On the side of our bottle bag, we have water purification tablets and a chemical light. In one of our previous videos, we went in and talked about having a Kamanga compass inside the compass pouch attached to our actual Y harness. The Y harness is right here. The compass pouch attaches on that webbing right there. All we've done here is we've updated our Kamanga compass with a Suunto MC2. We've worked our way around. In this bottle bag here, we have another wide mouth stainless steel bottle that will hold 32 ounces. And you can put an additional canteen cup in there if you choose to. Let's go ahead and talk about the butt pack. This is a modern version of the old school nylon one that I showed you from my gear loadout from 1998. It's no longer being made. It's from a company called Blackhawk, and they made these briefly in the mid to late 2000s, and then they went ahead and stopped. For whatever reason, I don't know. But you can find something similar that looks almost identical to this on Amazon. Just go in there and search modern US military butt pack, and these will pop up. It looks a little bit different here on the top. That's for additional webbing, but overall the bag is the same. Just like all my gear loadouts, we have a U.S. military poncho. We're on a patrol, or we're out there filming all day, we're exploring, we're scouting. I need some type of chow. For that, I'm going to carry a military MRE. This is the current headlamp that I'm carrying. I showed this briefly last week. This is a headlamp from Lead Lenser. It's an MH8. You can use actual batteries in it or their standard rechargeable battery. You can plug it into a USB port and charge it up. A roll of number 36 bank line. This is tarred trot line. Don't leave home without it. All the builds you've seen me do 3, 4, 5 years ago, most of them are still in place, and they were all put together with number 36 bank line. Gorilla brand duct tape. A simple roll of duct tape is worth its weight in gold. And an additional chemical light. And the sheath is a secondary option sold by Justin Allen Sigmund, and I'll put his link in the video description box as well. Just hit him up, tell him you want a sheath for the puku, and he'll get you one. As far as the price goes, I don't know what he has in store. Contact him and he'll let you know. Last few items are self-explanatory. Just like last time, I got some type of pocket knife. It could be a Gerber, it could be a Leatherman, whatever you choose, and some way to start a fire with open flame immediately. If you're hooked on the old school Zippos, bring a Zippo. If you enjoy a Bic lighter like myself, bring that. I don't want to mess around with waterproof matches or any type of matches at all, because if they break, the heads can snap off or get crushed, or even a ferro rod. Ferro rods are great, and I always carry one as backup, but it's never going to be my primary go-to. And simply taking a Bic lighter or equivalent and doing this, you're in business. Now, the last thing I want to talk about as far as knives go, and then we're going to move on, is you want some type of primary knife. This right here is the Corporals Corner logoed puku. Check that out. And it's made by Tony Powers or Rebel's Den Blades. This link is in my video description box. Check it out, check him out, tell him I sent you. This right here is a chunk of fatwood. It came from a red pine. Now, not all fatwood is created equal. What I found in my experience is Oregon, Washington, parts of Louisiana, Georgia has the best. Different colors, there's different sap ratios, and that's all going to play a part in what we're doing. I want to process this into small pieces. If you don't have access to this, you can simply go to a store, and Walmart has these. I know Kroger does, Menards, I believe Lowe's has them as well. Amazon, very popular for carrying it. A simple bag of fatwood fire starters. All somebody did was take this, cut it up into 1/2-inch squares by about 6 to 8 inches in length, and tossed it into a bag, and that's your fat lighter or fatwood fire starters. We're going to take that, we're going to stuff it inside of a paint can. We're going to pop a hole at the bottom, put the lid on top, dig a small hole, put a glass bottle underneath there, put the paint can on top of that, put dirt around it, and then light a fire around that. It's going to superheat all that fatwood, loosen all that sap up, all that nice resinous material is going to drain through that hole into our glass container, and that's going to be our pine pitch that we're going to use as our improvised fuel for our torch. Now you saw once we popped the hole in that can, the bottom kind of domed outward, and you want that. That way all that fat wood, all that resin will actually drain to the bottom and actually go to the lowest spot, hit that hole, and go into that bottom glass jar. Theoretically, it sounds great. Let's hope that it happens. Now, grab some dirt and fill around the outside of that paint can so no flames or heat or coals can roll underneath it and actually light that pitch on fire. Nature's gasoline right there. Now, while we're waiting for that to actually superheat that container and cause all of that resin to drip to the bottom of that glass jar and create pine pitch, we need to prep our torch. Think back to the Rambo video. In that video, he took part of his tunic, cut it in strips, and actually soaked it in either kerosene or lamp oil, one of the two, and wrapped it on a stick. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. The problem was I had no fuel. There it is. Now, as I mentioned before, this could be a pair of underwear. It could be an old t-shirt. It could be a bandana, shamog. It could actually be cotton canvas, which is what I'm gonna use today. Any type of material that you have, you can take that into small strips. We're gonna go ahead, and once that pine pitch is warm, grab some leaves off a tree or pine needles and brush it onto those strips and then wrap it around that stick. I'm gonna create a waterproof, windproof emergency torch that can be used for signaling, for heating, for lighting the path, lighting the cave, lighting the mine shaft, so on and so forth. Or simply just used at night to actually see what you're doing and keep animals away, mosquitoes away, things like that. The smoke's gonna come off this as well, smoke and smolder. Keep all your bugs at bay. So this is a multi-use item. And in my opinion, everyone doing any type of survival bushcraft should actually go out and try this at least once in their lifetime to see how hard it actually is. On that note, let's prep our torch. And there's my rock or something. So we got ravioli, which is probably my second favorite. Yep. I got some cheese spread. The major disappointment is, in my time, ravioli always came with crackers. We have Italian breadsticks. So we're going to add our cheese to the raviolis. And once again, no Tabasco. We have powdered hot sauce seasoning. Looks like crushed peppers and paprika or cayenne, whatever. Give it a whirl. All right, we'll try this out. Here we go. Not bad, but needs my Tabasco. It needs my Tabasco. The only complaint. Catch you all in a few. Well, that thing is completely full. Actually, looks like it overflowed. Wow. In fact, I think it did. Look at that. So let's see if I can get this lid back on here. If I can, that'd be a good thing. Ugh. So I'm going to roll this across here and get it to stick. just like last time, go in a slight angle. And it should stick it or adhere to that stick. Stick it to the stick, so to speak. All right, here's my assessment. The stuff makes a mess, so wear gloves. Just like that. Check that out. So like we were talking about earlier, you can actually wave this thing around with no fear of it actually going out. And I can look at this and actually see the layers underneath are actually burning. Check that out. That's what we're talking about. So it's very viable, and hopefully this thing will last for several minutes. And what you can actually do if it starts to die down is, just like in the Rambo video, have treated pieces of fabric and wrap it on there, and it will burst right back into flame. So you could very well take this, walk through the woods, into a cave, into a mine shaft, and see what you're doing. So I'm happy with this. And ultimately, if you had 3 fires in a row and you needed to light your signal fire, you could actually light those and then stand over there and be doing this number with no fear of it going out. And once again, there's no fear of this thing going out with the wind at all. And I'm quite sure you can signal and somebody's going to see this. I'm gonna try and make this a more regular interval of actually going out. I want to get back to doing it at least twice a month. We're working 60 plus hours a week in the shop, getting the skillets out. And like I keep saying, every 3 to 4 months, we're going to rotate and actually change up the design. And that's what we've been doing, to try and keep it fresh. Also because there's a few individuals that have decided that they're going to try to cash in on the market and, you know, copy designs. Some of them are copying designs that are straight off Amazon and charging 3 times what they're worth. I'm trying to keep them at a reasonable price. Keep in mind also that all my steel is from America. Everything's made in the USA, so it's going to be expensive. It's going to be more expensive than Chinese stuff. If you want Chinese stuff, buy Chinese stuff. If you want to support an American and American business, then you're going to pay a little bit more. That's just unfortunate, but that's how it is. There's nothing that I personally can do. Like if, say, hypothetically, the steel cost $38, you know, and I'm going to sell it for 45. After I pay 1/3 taxes, I'm making about $5 or $6 off the skillet, versus somebody who's doing the exact same thing and charging you $90. Okay, so there's a big difference there, you know. And on the same lines, if it costs, say, $38.5 or $38 for the steel, I'm not going to sell it to you for 20. So that wouldn't make any sense at all, right? So everything's figured out. Everything's as low as I can get it to try to get out a good product and just, you know, make the bare minimum to keep the lights on. Now, with that said, another month or so, we got a new item coming. In about 8 to 9 weeks, we have 3 new items coming. And those things have not been done before to my knowledge. I've looked, and I guarantee there's individuals that are going to try and jump on it. But the best part is, you'll see it on my channel first. So with that, I got to get up about 3 hours and head back and start editing this video to get it out to you guys. Now don't forget, we have the 100 stainless steel pour spout skillets and the bonus 25 carbon steel pour spout skillets, both with that classic removable handle dropping to my website as we speak, corporalscorner.com, and that link is located in my video description box. Now please do me that favor, hit that like and subscribe button, then ring that notification bell. Once you ring that bell, please select all notifications. And as always, thank you for your comments, views, and support. Thanks for watching. Get out in the field, have some fun. I'm going to catch you next time.